For me, this chapter does a lot of different things. Not only does it set a story in somewhat of a different direction, at least for the finale, the final battlefield, if you will. It also does a lot in reassuring us for the connections between characters, understanding things a bit better, and closing things off completely. If you haven't already realized, the past couple of months have been just that. Showcasing a lot of different perspectives with different opinions, different emotions, slowly and collectively coming together and sharing them with one another. Whether they hate each other, whether they want to kill each other, they are slowly understanding one another. And it doesn't erase the past, it doesn't erase the history between them, but the more understanding between them and the mutual goal that they all have, the easier it is for them to accept one another. The easier it is for them to realize that what they've been doing up to that point has been good and bad. From whatever way you view it, there's going to be a bad outlook. There's going to be a good outlook. It's going to uplift you and put people down and vice versa. So when you have all of these unique individuals come together with a drastically different experience, such as General Magath, all the way down to Gabby, when you see them conflict with one another, it's a beautiful thing to see it come full circle, to see them slowly understand and to slowly change and really want to push things forward. They want a progressive future where people can live. Not only from this event, but after it. They want people to flourish and hopefully get into a better situation. I think this chapter does a great job in taking a small portion of Eren, or at least the rumbling and the effects of it, and really drill it back into us as readers through these characters. Throughout this chapter alone, it's desperation at its finest. They are on an extremely strict time limit, and the chapter itself opens up like that they are running out of time, that Eren is moving quickly, or the Titans are moving quickly, and at this point, Liberio is already destroyed, or at least by the time they even get close to it, it's going to be destroyed. There's no doubt about it. Liberio is gone. No one can save it at this point. Really eye-opening for the most part, considering we're not seeing that destruction, but you know it's happening. It kind of adds this level of intensity to everything that they're doing. It sets the foundation for this chapter. They don't have time to dawdle around. They don't have time to really fight people on a lengthy basis. They have to be quick about these things. They have to make decisions. And when you have such high intensity moments like this, thinking out your decisions is probably one of the most important things, but when you don't have the time for it, it makes those decisions all the more impactful. And if you make the wrong decision, it may cost you your life or your friends' lives, and we've seen that directly in this chapter. So alongside getting the timetable, theoretically, Eren Yeager is about to destroy Liberio, or it's going to come down to that very soon. They decided that whatever they wanted to do with the plane is not going to work. They don't have enough time, it's not going to get them far, and it's really not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. What they decide to do is take the ship and carry the plane on the back of it to a very small Azuma Bito. I never know how to pronounce that word, but it's an island on the lower side of Mali. It's still technically on the coast, but it's more of an inlet. Plan to go here by the boat and use the plane from there to travel to anywhere within Mali. So if it is somewhat orchestrated like this, the final battle may be within Mali, especially because they put the idea in our heads that it won't take very long for Eren to obliterate the entirety of the continent of Mali. I do have some rather interesting questions for this. I thought Eren was on Paradise. Is he moving? Is he being carried? Is he somewhere else entirely? Is he walking himself? Because the last time we seen him, he was creating this massive Titan structure surrounding him, too big to walk, supposedly. It looked completely obscure and something that wouldn't be a viable option to maneuver within. I think a majority of us thought that he was going to stay there in Paradise and the final fight would be within Paradise. But I guess not. I guess that has changed, and something in the back of my mind that's telling me that he's still there, but it just seems weird that they would fight within Mali, or they would travel to the coast of Mali and then realize, oh well, we have to travel all the way back to stop Eren. It just seems kind of counterintuitive for the story to go like that. Unless for some reason while they're flying, they realize that Eren's not actually there and then he's back on Paradise, which then they could detour like that. I think it was played as a little bit of a curveball. because it kind of makes you think, well, is Aaron actually moving? Is his Titan form complete? Yelena knows where Aaron is supposedly, or at least that's what General Magath thought. It's the reason why he captured her to begin with. So where is he? What is he doing? Is he on the front lines? Is he sitting on the back of a Titan? Is he being carried like Cocoon or something alongside the Wall Titans? I don't know. I think the prior option that I mentioned might actually be a possibility. Them flying within the plane and realizing that he's not actually within the Wall Titans or anywhere on the continent of Mali, and then he's back on Paradise by himself maybe, or at least surrounded by a couple of Wall Titans. This chapter goes through the motions, showing some incredible fight scenes, beautiful panel work. We see Reiner, we see Annie doing work, taking on the Jaegerists, taking on Flock and everyone else, and just doing a great job with it until they get overrun or overpowered. I think them being somewhat belittled by the Jaegerist is a really good reflection that humans still have a chance against Titans when they're overwhelmed and the Titan shifters are backed into a corner. There's really not much Reiner or Annie could do in this situation. They were playing a defense game. They weren't able to maneuver around too much. They weren't able to utilize their Titan abilities too much. They were protecting people. This comes at a very massive cost, obviously, because they get overwhelmed, they get extremely heavily injured and pretty much almost killed until you get the anomaly that comes in, which is Falco. So we get to see Falco's Jaw Titan for the first time, which is rather interesting, and he puts it to good use. We also get to see the results of Falco turning into a Jaw Titan, which is him going a little bit out of control and not knowing how to handle the Titan shifting ability, and he ends up attacking the Cart Titan. But luckily, even though the Cart Titan does get pinned down by Falco while he's in his Titan form, General Magath comes through and manages to pull him out. It's just a back and forth conflict. You get to see the brutality of all of it, people being extremely desperate. You get to see Connie come through driven by pure anger. He's just obliterating everyone at this point, which he's really stepped up his game. Everyone's pretty much just doing everything they can to survive and escape. That's all they want to do. Now, there's a lot of people that stand out within this chapter. General Magath is the biggest one. He does absolute work in just bringing in a whole new emotional wave to everything. You thought this chapter was emotional to begin with, or at least just brutality. He brings it back down to reality extremely well. They had their backs against the wall, yet his compassion he showed to people that he was butting heads with only chapters ago, his realization has turned around extremely quickly. And he's slowly coming to terms with things. He realizes what he's done in the position and the power that he had could have been used to do so much good within the world, so much better. It's a beautiful thing, but it's also extremely tragic because it comes at the cost of his own life. How this all comes to fruition, however, still have their backs against the wall. Everyone's still pushing forward. Reinforcements are coming on a train for the Jaegerist, but that gets blown up mysteriously. We didn't know who that was at first, but it gets revealed at the end of the chapter. Everyone's doing their best to not die and push forward and get on this boat and escape, but the person that pretty much stunts everything, kind of defuses the situation rather drastically, is Flock being shot and potentially killed. It doesn't even look like he's killed, actually. It kind of just seems like he was heavily wounded and shot, and then he falls into the ocean. He's shot by none other than Gabby, which a really nice thing, goes to show that everyone's doing their work and they're all connected. They're all in the same situation. They're all in the same boat, which is the irony of it. From there, you see the Jaegerists rather swayed because Flock, their leader, their commander, has been shot and fallen into the ocean. They take that opportunity to pretty much escape. The finale is the emotional point for this chapter. Something that comes as a little bit of a surprise, but it is extremely well needed to help balance out the chaotic nature for this chapter. Everything is absolutely everywhere, but it reminds you that two completely different people that have been raised and molded by the ideology of their respected place value each other. They see eye to eye, they understand one another, and they recognize each other as good people. This is obviously General Magath, who stays behind and doesn't actually get on the boat, and Keith shatters. Do you remember the mysterious person within the window? Everyone thought it might have been Aaron, or they thought it was Shatters. There you go. He's seen Annie, he realized what was going on, and he felt obligated to do something about it. He was also the person to actually disrail and blow up the train of reinforcements that were coming for the Jaegerists. So he's fully on board with everything that's going on, but he sacrifices himself with the General Magath to take down this boat that would catch up to the boat that's currently fleeing with everyone on board. It's a very humbling situation. These characters should be the most manipulated, the most ingrained into their ideals because of their countries, because of how they were raised, because of how they were taught. They are the oldest, so they technically should be some of the most stubborn, but seeing them grow, seeing them understand one another and realize that this isn't the path they want to take, this isn't right, and that the way the country has molded them, the way they have been raised and reformed and constructed is wrong, was a really eye-opening thing. Seeing such two pinnacle pillars that are so extremely similar, that valued their own respected things, come together and understand one another, it really just made for the finale of the chapter to be bittersweet. That everything they fought for just then was worth it, and everything they're going to fight for will be worth it. A lot of people thought General Magath wouldn't do anything, that he wouldn't have that much of an impact. But him just being within the story, him changing and evolving, seeing Gabby, seeing these people, seeing these children fight and recognize the wrongs that he has done by them, the wrong that he has done by his own people, is a very massive thing. And it being in the reception of Shatters is such a beautiful thing. These two characters have worked so well together in this chapter and sends it off beautifully. In conclusion, I am extremely happy with this chapter. It's rather simple in the grand scheme of things, but I thought it was extremely well handled, and I didn't really know the future of a lot of these characters, but knowing that General Magath and even Shatters have joined forces and sacrificed themselves for a better future while understanding each other is an incredible thing. Probably the strongest way you could end off that chapter, after seeing everyone fight so desperately. From here, however, things are most likely going to escalate extremely quickly. And before you know it, we're going to be getting into some pretty massive battles, and we're going to confront the Wall Titans, confront Eren Yeager, and everything's going to just come crumbling down. I'm more than excited to see where this story is going to go, and how many people, opinions, emotions, ideals is it going to take to understand Eren, to potentially persuade Eren, or to kill him, to stop him, to talk to him. There's a lot of opportunities here, and we are ever so quickly leading to them. So with that being said, let me know how you felt about the chapter. I'd really love to hear your thoughts, but I'm actually going to end the video off here. I hope you all enjoyed. Drink plenty of water, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.